Hi, so as you can tell from the title of this video, it's a bit different to what I normally do, and that's because both of us want to raise awareness for the topic of conversation. I don't know if I've mentioned it in the title or not, but we're going to be talking about I'll edit this. We're going to be talking about
so in case you didn't know, both of us have Asperger's syndrome. Please don't laugh. I'm very sensitive about it. And we think it's important to raise awareness of how Asperger's presents itself in girls and some of the struggles that we can have.
So for those of you who don't know what it is, Asperger's is a form of autism.
It's where you have difficulties with social interaction and communication, and yeah.
So we've put together some questions that we'll answer just to make things more understandable about it. And the reason why we have done this video is because it's specifically for girls with Asperger's, because
they present so differently to boys,
and that's the main reason for the video, which we'll go into about the differences between girls and boys with it. So let's begin. This is the biggest part of why we're doing the video, so it's probably the biggest question, because whenever you picture Asperger's and autism and all of that,
you probably think,
yeah, you can say, like,
you probably think of a boy just sat there like playing with Lego or something, like Lego trains.
Yeah, you'll think of like super intelligent maths, you'll think of Einstein, you'll think of Rain Man, all of these things, and
you'll think of boys who like don't know how to communicate with people, and you can tell straight away.
They talk with a very monotone voice.
The diagnostic criteria, I think, needs to be changed, because at the moment, or at least when we were diagnosed, it was all about obsessive interest.
It just stops girls from being diagnosed, and the reason for that is because girls are better at hiding it than boys, and we manage to put on a like a different person when we go to school or to events and things like that, which is why for anyone who does know us,
it might come as a surprise.
It might be a massive surprise and you might have never ever thought about it. It's mainly just knowing that we shouldn't be really sticking to the typical stereotypes that have been set, because like normal people, like neurotypical people, everybody's different. So why are Asperger's and autism fit into such small boxes, like we're all the exact same thing?
I was diagnosed at the age of 14, which is significantly later than probably what boys would be diagnosed at.
Which apparently the average age is like 4 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it was first sort of suggested that I might have it at, I think, the age of 8. But I only actually got diagnosed at 14, so the amount of time that I was struggling in school and stuff for was ridiculous, really.
My parents noticed that something was different when I was around 2 years old. They did refer me to like doctors to ask what was up, and they just told my parents that they were bad parents and they hadn't brought me up correctly. Yeah, I was diagnosed when I was about 10 or 11.
A lot of people on the autistic spectrum experience sensory difficulties, or they might be more sensitive to things than others.
Yeah.
So like for me, I don't know about you, but it's like noises. Like
yeah, that's the same.
Yeah, some noises I just can't stand it. They just make me so like
frustrated.
Yeah, like listening to people eat and stuff, I just can't do it.
When it came to obsessions, which both girls and boys have, it's different. So you'd think, when you think obsessions, you'd think someone who was obsessed with trains, someone who knows every day of the month, dating back to like, that's where the difference lies. Boys are very, very, very specific. traits that you'd find very weird for someone to be obsessed with, whereas with girls you can be obsessed with something but no one will notice because everyone likes music, everyone likes pop stars, everyone's like that. So you know,
but
like,
they can still be obsessions, like, but I think they're probably more temporary in girls as well.
I did have a typical trait that a boy would have within his obsessions,
What
which
was
was
it?
I was obsessed with fossils. Like, were you?
I collect rocks and fossils.
I did.
Really?
Oh my god! I was
so
obsessed.
weird.
We didn't. We think we're normal. For me, I thought that everyone struggled the same way. Like, I thought everyone goes home and everyone has the same issues and we all hide it when we go to school. That's how I thought. Like, I did feel a bit different. Like, I thought, why do I do this and why do I do that? But on a whole, I thought, I bet everyone goes through this.
Yeah.
And then when my parents told me we were going for ice cream and dropped me off at Cam's and said we're trying to get you diagnosed, I was like, ooh.
Like, but even now, I do think, like I was saying before, like, maybe people do, like, experience life like this, but, well, maybe we just experience it a tiny bit more than them.
I think everyone wants to feel like they're different.
Yeah, but in a good, like, in a positive way.
And we all are.
Yeah.
But you're just not as special as us. So, question, but...
Sorry, let me just consult my book. Yeah, so, to be honest, there are two main things that annoy me about having Asperger's. The first one is, oh crap. This is it! The first one, and I've written down, is that sometimes I have stuff that I want to say, but I just can't find the right words. That's
Oh my god, that is sugar with me!
Right, that is the problem I'm having right now. I know what I want to say in my head, but I can't get it out.
Yeah, so we struggle with expressing emotion, expressing how we feel and expressing what we want to say specifically.
Yeah.
And I've learned that I write things down, so whenever I'm upset or I want to say something, I would write a letter or I'd write something down. I've learned that that's how I do it
Well,
now.
I tried that, like, you're trying to get it on paper instead of out loud, but I just can't get it out of my head.
Wow. I think from the top of my head, any annoyances that I do have is, I do psychology and I've done it at Yale A-level and
Yay level.
oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Sorry.
I was hoping you weren't going to. At A-level and at university, they always use a young boy with severe autism who hasn't been able to leave without his carer, who hasn't been able to do anything or communicate, and he spoke his first words when he was 12. And it's like, okay, there are people out there that like that, hence the people that they use, but if they keep using the same stereotypical boys, no wonder everyone thinks it's just boys with those stereotypical traits. Like, can't you use a girl who looks completely normal, who doesn't show any signs whatsoever, but they struggle at home? Like, I just think it annoys me a lot, and
People who
that's my
struggle-
biggest annoyance, is just, and the films, I hate it. Like, every film is about a man or a boy with severe autism who's highly clever and intellectual and goes and decodes certain things, and it's like, oh.
I don't know about you, but, like, if I'm having a conversation with someone, I can get to the end of a conversation and have no idea what's been said because I'm concentrating so hard on, you know, trying to nod at the right time, or how much eye contact do I make, or, you know, am I saying yes at the right times?
Yeah. And I've found that a lot of times people make jokes or sarcastic comments, and the first time that I ever hear it, I've no idea what the joke is. But then, as part of my copying and mimicking and trying to hide it, I would use that joke again in the future once I've heard and I've seen someone else react to it, and then if someone said it again, I would react how a person has reacted. Like, I would watch someone react to a joke that I don't get and then react in the future the same way that they've done.
Sometimes though, I can go way too far, and I end up like mimicking the exact, you know, things that people say,
Yeah,
or like,
same with me.
or complete specific phrases that people say.
Throughout this whole process of social interaction and all of these mimicking and copying and having to look at everyone else and try and copy what everyone else is doing becomes like physically and mentally draining.
I always talk about it as a social battery. You know, I've only got so much power in there.
Like my camera right now.
Yeah, and it can run out and take its toll. And so, like, I specifically say, some weekends I'm just like, right, this is my quiet day. Yeah, like I'm recharging my batteries. Like, no one talk to me.
If we do keep going and just keep putting it off and saying no, it's fine, and keep spending so much time with people and all of that, it doesn't just become draining, it becomes overwhelming.
Yes. I'm pretty sure all girls with Asperger's have some mental health.
Anxiety,
OCD, maybe
depression.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it just stems from the struggles of girls trying so hard to fit in, and that can really take its toll on mental health.
Yeah.
And like, we've both been diagnosed with anxiety, so yeah. Well, I'd rather people ask than
Assume.
than maybe had all these oh my god, that is the biggest seagull I've ever seen. It's like
It just ate my thing in one go. People,
yeah, I would rather people asked me questions and didn't feel awkward about it, because it's not something to like be embarrassed about or be ashamed about, and that's why we're doing this video, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I still
but like, I want people to to be interested.
I do want people to ask me about it. And in the past, I've told people when like I was recently diagnosed that I had it, and the same reaction is, you don't look like you have it, you definitely don't have it, are you sure you've been diagnosed properly? And that really, really annoys me.
The thing is, like, and I always think that, no one's ever said that to me, but I always think
really?
Well, because I never told anyone. But I always think that I would just say, well, you didn't know me as a child, because honestly...
Yeah, you don't know what goes on.
Like, as a child, the struggles were so much more visible to people, and like, now I can sort of hold it all in.
So if someone tells you, don't question it. And firstly, this is the reason how we've met anyway. It's not like a coincidence that we both have it and we both just told each other like that.
We were actually both saw the same clinician when we were younger, and she was the one who got us in touch, but the reason that she did was because she was writing a book on it.
So this is the book, and it's really a guide for clinicians in how to look for like
it's basically how to help
girls with it.
Yeah.
And understand that we're all different and we're not the same as boys.
We've each written parts of it.
Yeah, so we're in the book
about us and how it, you know, it affects us and stuff. So yeah, and the book is mainly because there are so many girls not being diagnosed, or it's taken them like 20 years. The book is basically saying this is what to look for. So you know, it's got, we're sort of examples. It's like how it presents itself in us, and the things that we've found difficult, and just it's sort of our stories of how we were diagnosed and stuff like that.
Whilst me and Millie do seem very different in this book, I feel like we do relate.
Yeah.
More. I feel like I do relate to everything Millie said in here. Obviously there's bits that are completely different and things that I don't relate to at all, but that shows, you know, the differences. So yeah, if you are interested in, like,
we'll link it below.
And we thought it was a perfect time
to get it out there, and hopefully it might help some people. Yeah, and more awareness about women and not just the stereotypes. That's annoying. So yeah.
Now you know.
And now we're going to go to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So.
Okay,
So-
bye.
This is a terrible idea.
This is so bad.
Okay. When is
I
it?
want to move my car, it's in the way, but I'll sit like that. There we go.
Oh no, I don't want to sit like that. How do I sit? I've forgotten how to sit.
Just like act natural.
I can't act natural. What did I have for lunch? Oh yeah, I did.
3,
Good evening. Work.
and action. I can't take off seriously. Why did I do that? Specifically for girls.
So, no. You and. As to how how it presents itself, as to I didn't know, we were both diagnosed with Asperger syndrome, and we think it's important.
I'm trying really hard.
In case you didn't know, we were both.
Some people don't even know that.
People.
Wait, shush.
People.
Whilst we do have struggles and it is a tough life living with it, I wouldn't get rid of it.
Yeah, I might. I don't know.
I want them to feel my pain. I used to collect
Children.